Jamel Demons, known as YNW Melly or Melly, has been seen smiling and laughing in court. But it was this moment that is now being shared online.
Really?
He appears to be praying and then blows a kiss.
From the highs of a burgeoning music career to the lows of facing serious legal allegations, YNW Melly has experienced a tumultuous journey. Join us as we sit down with him to explore his reflections, legal battles, and the controversies surrounding his trial. This is YNW Melly reacting to a life sentence. Alleged crimes committed. The trial of YNW Melly captivated the public's attention as it unfolded in the courtroom. The prosecution presented its case, aiming to prove YNW Melly's guilt in the murders of Anthony DeAndre Williams, aka YNW Sack Chaser, and Christopher Thomas Jr., aka YNW Juvie, while the defense fought to establish his innocence. Throughout the trial, key moments emerged that shed light on the intricacies of the case. On the night of October 26, 2018, YNW Melly and his friends were driving through the streets of South Florida. It was during this fateful drive that the unthinkable allegedly occurred. Shots were fired, and both YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie were fatally wounded. The details surrounding the motive for the alleged crime are still murky, but rumors began to circulate that it may have been driven by a lucrative brand deal that went awry. The allure of money and fame can sometimes lead individuals down a dark path, and it seems that YNW Melly may have fallen victim to these temptations. YNW Juvie was a promising young artist with immense talent and raw potential. Contrary to the initial portrayal of a hardened lifestyle, testimonials from friends and family revealed his gentle nature, passion for music, and desire to escape the cycle of violence surrounding him. YNW Sack Chaser, known for his outgoing personality and infectious smile, was an aspiring entrepreneur. He aimed to uplift his community by creating opportunities, especially for young aspiring artists. Juvie and Sack Chaser had dreams, aspirations, and bright futures ahead of them, all tragically cut short. Melly, devastated by the loss of his friends right after they died, claimed that they had fallen victim to a drive-by shooting. He insisted that he and his friends were innocent victims caught in the crossfire of a random act of violence. The news of the alleged drive-by shooting spread like wildfire, capturing the attention of fans and the media alike. Ballistics reports revealed that the bullets recovered from the bodies of YNW Sack Chaser, 21 years, and YNW Juvie, 26, matched the firearm registered to YNW Melly. This crucial evidence raised serious questions about his potential role in the crime. Additionally, forensic analysis of the crime scene indicated that the shots were fired from inside the vehicle, further implicating YNW Melly. Furthermore, witnesses came forward, providing statements that suggested YNW Melly's involvement in the murders. These witnesses claimed to have seen YNW Melly with a firearm on the night of the incident and heard him make threatening remarks towards his friends. However, as the investigation unfolded, the truth began to unravel. The authorities, suspicious of Melly's claims, delved deeper into the circumstances surrounding the deaths of Williams and Thomas. Their findings would paint a much darker picture. Soon enough, the spotlight turned on Melly himself. The police alleged that he was not only involved in the murders but had orchestrated them himself. In a shocking turn of events, Melly, along with another friend named Cortland YNW Bortland Henry, was arrested in connection with the murders. The authorities believed that Melly had pulled the trigger himself, with Henry acting as his accomplice. The charges brought against Melly were nothing short of severe. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, a crime that carried heavy penalties. The weight of the charges hung heavily over Melly as he faced the legal battle of his life.
So, Ms. Holmes, is it your statement, testimony, that you never stated the promises that were made to us by YNW for me to quit my job and they would take care of us were all lies? They didn't want us talking with prosecutors, but now they've all disappeared. You've never said that before. I don't understand.
Objection, Your Honor.
Felicia Holmes, a registered nurse and the mother of Mariah Hamilton, who was said to have been dating YNW Melly at the time of the murders, provided extensive testimony. Her presence on the stand offered a glimpse into the personal dynamics within the YNW crew. Her testimony revealed the close bond between Melly and his friends, portraying them as day one brothers. However, she also faced intense questioning from the prosecution, who sought to establish potential motives and connections to the crime. Another significant moment in the trial came when the judge denied a motion for a mistrial by the defense. The defense objected to the state's line of questioning during Felicia Holmes' testimony, claiming that it invoked impermissible evidence and biased the jury. The judge had initially criticized the prosecution's approach, but ultimately allowed the trial to proceed, stating that the defense's concerns did not warrant a mistrial. As the trial progressed, the prosecution presented evidence from a detective sergeant, supporting their argument that the victims could not have been killed in a drive-by shooting. Instead, they contended that YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie were shot dead from within the car. car. The medical examiner's testimony further corroborated this claim, revealing that YNW sack chaser had been shot multiple times, including a fatal gunshot wound to the back of the head. Throughout the trial, the defense sought to challenge the credibility of the evidence presented by the prosecution. They questioned the lead detective's expertise, particularly in relation to cell phone data location. The defense argued that investigators had prematurely focused on YNW Melly as the primary suspect, without thoroughly considering other potential suspects or alternative explanations for the crime. The defense also motioned multiple times for a mistrial, but the judge consistently denied these requests. Despite the defense's efforts to discredit the prosecution's case, the trial continued, with both sides presenting their arguments and evidence to the jury. After over a month of proceedings, the prosecution rested its case against YNW Melly. Witnesses from Melly's personal life, including Felicia Holmes and Trevion Glass, a friend and musical collaborator of the YNW crew, provided crucial testimony. The state also examined a firearms expert and the lead detective on the investigation, who was considered their star witness. With the conclusion of the prosecution's case, the defense called its one and only witness, YNW Melly's friend Adrian Green. However, Melly himself chose not to testify in the trial, informing the judge of his decision. The defense then presented its closing arguments, challenging the prosecution's reconstruction images and phone tracking data, which they argued could be interpreted differently. After 3 days of jury deliberations, the trial ended in a mistrial. The jury was unable to reach a unanimous verdict, leaving the case unresolved. Prosecutors indicated their intention to seek a new trial, prolonging the legal battle and uncertainty surrounding YNW Melly's fate. The trial of YNW Melly showcased the complexities and challenges of the legal process. The shocking allegations, intense cross-examinations, and the ultimate declaration of a mistrial left the case in limbo, leaving the world to wonder what the future holds for YNW Melly. Legal proceedings. The YNW Melly trial proceedings have captivated the public's attention as the state of Florida presents its case against Jamel Demons, widely known as YNW Melly, and his co-defendant Cortland Henry, also known as YNW Bortland. The trial centers around the shocking double murder of their friends and fellow members of the YNW collective, Christopher Thomas, also known as YNW Juvie, and Anthony Williams, also known as YNW Sack Chaser. The events leading up to the trial date back to October 26, 2018, when Cortland Henry arrived at a Miramar, Florida hospital claiming that Thomas and Williams were bleeding out in his vehicle due to a drive-by shooting. However, upon inspection, officials discovered that both victims had already succumbed to gunshot wounds to their heads and torsos. This discovery immediately raised suspicions, leading investigators to dig deeper into the circumstances surrounding the deaths. Surveillance footage obtained by detectives revealed that Henry and Demons were seen together with the victims at a recording studio prior to the shooting. This crucial piece of evidence placed all four individuals together on the night of the murders, contradicting Henry's initial claim of a drive-by shooting. As the investigation progressed, blood evidence and cell phone data further solidified the prosecution's case against Demons and Henry. In February 2019, Demons was arrested, marking a significant turning point in the case. The trial, which began recently, has already provided a glimpse into the state's compelling evidence. Jurors have been given an inside look at the vehicle in which Thomas and Williams were allegedly shot. Detailed photographs of the vehicle reveal bloodstains covering the seats and the center console, painting a gruesome picture of the crime scene. The prosecution has also presented photographs of the victims' clothing, which were found to be covered in blood and riddled with bullet holes. Of particular interest is a jacket provided by the medical staff, which exhibits a circular area indicating a possible bullet defect. Crime scene investigators have testified about the appearance of blood on the jacket, highlighting how its appearance may change over time. In addition to the physical evidence, witnesses have taken the stand to testify about the alleged location of the shooting. Surveillance video footage has been shown, capturing the moment YNW Bortland arrived at Memorial Hospital Miramar with YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser in his car. First responders have also provided testimony, confirming that the area was treated as a crime scene. Furthermore, ballistic experts have presented their findings, offering a visual representation of how the bullets traveled within the vehicle. Trajectory rods have been used to demonstrate the path of the bullets, showing how they passed through the rear passenger seat and into the front passenger side. These ballistic testimonies aim to provide the jury with a clear understanding of the events that unfolded on that fateful night. As the trial progresses, the prosecution seeks to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that YNW Melly and YNW Bortland are responsible for the murders of Christopher Thomas and Anthony Williams. The defense will have the opportunity to challenge the presented evidence and present their own case in due course. One of the most crucial pieces of evidence is the examination of the vehicle in which Christopher Thomas and Anthony Williams were allegedly shot. Detailed photographs of the vehicle have been shown to the jury, revealing bloodstains covering the seats and the center console. These bloodstains bloodstains serve as a chilling reminder of the violent events that took place. The prosecution has also presented photographs of the victim's clothing, which provide further insight into the brutality of the crime. The clothing, covered in blood and showing bullet holes, serves as a haunting reminder of the lives lost. One particular item of interest is a jacket provided by the medical staff. During the trial, a crime scene investigator testified about the jacket, pointing out a circular area that indicates a possible bullet defect. This evidence suggests that the victims were indeed shot, further supporting the prosecution's case. In addition to the examination of the vehicle and the victim's clothing, the prosecution has presented other significant evidence. Surveillance footage obtained by detectives has been shown, capturing the moments leading up to the shooting. This footage places YNW Bortland, YNW Juvie, and YNW Sack Chaser together, providing a timeline of events and establishing their presence at the scene. Cell phone data has also played a crucial role in the prosecution's case. By analyzing the communication records of the defendants and the victims, investigators have been able to establish a connection between all parties involved. This data supports the prosecution's claim that the four individuals were together on the night of the murders. Furthermore, the prosecution has called witnesses to testify about the alleged location of the shooting. First, responders who arrived at the scene have provided valuable insights into the immediate aftermath of the crime. Their testimonies confirm that the area was treated as a crime scene, further bolstering the prosecution's narrative. Ballistic experts have also taken the stand, providing a detailed analysis of the bullet's trajectory within the vehicle. Using trajectory rods, they have demonstrated how the bullets passed through the rear passenger seat and into the front passenger side. This visual representation helps the jury understand the sequence of events and supports the prosecution's argument that the defendants were responsible for the murders. As the trial progresses, the prosecution continues to present shocking evidence, painting a vivid picture of the crime scene and the events that unfolded. The examination of the vehicle, the victim's clothing, and the presentation of surveillance footage, cell phone data, and ballistic analysis all contribute to the prosecution's case against YNW Melly and YNW Bortland. One of the key arguments put forth by the defense is the claim of a drive-by shooting. They argue that Cortland Henry, YNW Bortland, was not involved in the murders and that he genuinely believed Thomas and Williams had been victims of a drive-by shooting when he arrived at the hospital. The defense asserts that the evidence presented by the prosecution does not conclusively prove the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. To counter the prosecution's evidence, the defense has called into question the reliability of the surveillance footage. They argue that the footage does not definitively establish the presence of the defendants at the scene of the crime. The defense suggests that the footage may be open to interpretation and that there could be other individuals involved who have not been identified. Additionally, the defense challenges the interpretation of the bloodstains found in the vehicle. They argue that the presence of blood does not necessarily prove the defendant's involvement in the murders. The defense suggests that the bloodstains could have been the result of other factors, or that they may have been present prior to the alleged incident. The defense also questions the validity of the cell phone data presented by the prosecution. They argue that the data does not provide a clear link between the defendants and the victims at the time of the murders. The defense suggests that the cell phone data could be subject to misinterpretation or manipulation, casting doubt on its reliability as evidence. Furthermore, the defense challenges the ballistic analysis presented by the prosecution. They argue that the trajectory rods used to demonstrate the bullet's path may not accurately represent the actual events. The defense suggests that alternative explanations for the bullet holes and trajectory could exist, raising doubts about the prosecution's interpretation of the evidence. Throughout the trial, the defense has been diligent in cross-examining witnesses presented by the prosecution. They have sought to highlight any inconsistencies or gaps in the evidence, aiming to create reasonable doubt in the minds of the jurors. By challenging the prosecution's narrative and presenting alternative interpretations, the defense aims to secure a favorable outcome for their clients. As the trial progresses, the defense will continue to present their case and challenge the prosecution's evidence. Their efforts to cast doubt on the prosecution's narrative and provide alternative explanations will be crucial in shaping the jury's perception of the events. The outcome of the trial remains uncertain, and it will ultimately be up to the jury to determine the defendant's guilt or innocence. Mistrial.
We are still unable to reach a unanimous decision. So at this time, what I'm going to do is just declare this trial.
The prosecution argued that Melly was the shooter, seeking the death penalty for his alleged crimes. They presented witness testimonies, forensic evidence, and phone records that they claimed linked Melly to the murders. The defense, on the other hand, maintained Melly's innocence, arguing that he was not present during the shooting and that the evidence against him was circumstantial. The trial lasted for weeks, with both sides presenting their case to the jury. Witnesses took the stand, recounting their interactions with Melly and providing their perspectives on the events leading up to the murders. The courtroom was filled with tension as the prosecution and defense clashed over the interpretation of the evidence. However, as the jury deliberated, it became clear that reaching a unanimous decision would be a challenge. After more than 16 hours of deliberation, the jury informed Judge Murphy that they were deadlocked and unable to reach a verdict. Chaos, explosions of anger, and a sense of disbelief filled the deliberation room. One juror in particular stood out, causing disruptions and expressing a clear bias from the very beginning. According to a former juror who spoke to local10.com, this disruptive juror had issues with the foreperson from day one. Folding her arms and declaring done at one point, she seemed determined to acquit Melly from the start. Despite her claims during voir dire that she could put her feelings aside, it became evident during deliberations that she could not. She exploded with explosive and manipulative behavior, yelling insults at anyone who held a different opinion. On the last day of deliberations, it seemed that the jury was leaning towards convicting Melly of manslaughter by a vote of 11-1. However, the disruptive juror managed to sway two other jurors to her side, leading to a sudden change of heart. She announced to the group that they had changed their minds, but when another juror questioned her authority to speak for them, she exploded once again, hurling insults and gay slurs at the juror who dared to challenge her. The mistrial left the former juror feeling betrayed and compelled to speak up against the false narrative that Melly's mother, Jamie King, had posted on social media. King claimed that the vote was 9-3 for a not guilty verdict, but the former juror vehemently denied this, stating, "I don't want someone out there changing my vote. You tell a lie enough and it becomes the truth." The truth, according to the former juror, was that the vote was 9-3 to convict Melly. The mistrial marked a significant turning point in the case, leaving both the prosecution and the defense with new challenges to overcome. Melly's legal team requested to depose Detective Mark Moretti, the lead detective on the case, once again, claiming that he had botched the investigation. The defense aimed to challenge the credibility of the evidence and the handling of the case. As the retrial loomed on the horizon, Melly's legal team underwent a significant change. Jamie Benjamin, an aggressive and renowned defense attorney, took the lead in representing Melly. Benjamin wasted no time in calling out Judge Murphy, accusing him of disinterest in hearing their arguments and alleging a cover-up by Detective Moretti. The mistrial had set the stage for a dramatic retrial, with new players and new strategies coming into play. As the mistrial came to a close, YNW Melly's defense team faced a series of new challenges and developments. With the retrial on the horizon, they had to regroup and strategize to ensure the best possible outcome for their client. One of the key changes in Melly's defense team was the appointment of Jamie Benjamin as the lead attorney. Known for his aggressive style and strategic approach, Benjamin wasted no time in making his presence felt. He openly criticized Judge Murphy, accusing him of disinterest and alleging a cover-up by lead detective Mark Moretti. Benjamin's allegations against Detective Moretti were not taken lightly. The defense claimed that Moretti had seized a cell phone belonging to Melly's mother, Jamie King, outside of his jurisdiction. They further alleged that Moretti had asked another officer to lie about being present during the seizure, potentially violating Brady rules. The defense's focus on Moretti as a key target in the case raised eyebrows and added another layer of complexity to the already intricate proceedings. They argued that Moretti had botched the investigation, casting doubt on the credibility of the evidence presented by the prosecution. In their quest to challenge the investigation, Melly's defense team sought to depose Detective Moretti once again. They aimed to uncover any potential misconduct or mishandling of the case, hoping to weaken the prosecution's arguments and strengthen their own. The defense's aggressive approach was met with mixed reactions. Some praised their tenacity and dedication to their client's cause, while others questioned their tactics and the impact it would have on the retrial. Nevertheless, Benjamin remained steadfast in his pursuit of justice for Melly. The mistrial also brought to light additional legal troubles for Melly. He and his co-defendant, Cortland Henry, were charged with witness tampering. Prosecutors alleged that Melly and his associates attempted to prevent Melly's ex-girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton, from testifying by passing messages through jail calls. The witness tampering charges resulted in both Melly and Henry being held without bail, prolonging their time in jail. This added another layer of complexity to the case, as the defense had to navigate the legal implications of these new charges while preparing for the retrial. The importance of Mariah Hamilton's testimony became apparent. She claimed that Melly had FaceTimed her after the murders, appearing to be hiding and confessing that their friends, Sack and Juvie, were killed in a drive-by shooting. Her testimony directly contradicted the defense's argument that Melly was not present during the shooting. However, the mistrial took a toll on Hamilton, and she became reluctant to testify in the retrial. Prosecutors sought to use her testimony from the first trial, as she was now refusing to take the stand. This presented a challenge for both the prosecution and the defense, as they had to navigate the legal complexities surrounding her unavailability. The mistrial also led to the removal of lead prosecutor Christine Bradley from the case. The defense alleged possible misconduct by Detective Moretti, and Bradley could potentially be called as a witness to question Moretti's tactics. Judge Murphy, recognizing the potential conflict of interest, made the decision to remove Bradley from the case. With Bradley's removal, the prosecution faced the task of bringing a new prosecutor up to speed on the intricacies of the case. Alexandra Buckaloo was appointed to lead the prosecution team, but the sudden change in leadership added another layer of uncertainty to the upcoming retrial. As the retrial approached, both the defense and the prosecution prepared for a battle in the courtroom. The defense aimed to challenge the investigation, the credibility of the evidence, and the handling of the case. The prosecution, led by Buckaloo, had to quickly familiarize themselves with the details of the case to present a strong argument. The mistrial in the case of YNW Melly had far-reaching consequences, one of which was the denial of bail for the rapper. Melly had been in jail since 2019, awaiting trial and maintaining his innocence. His defense team argued that he should be released on bail as he had not been convicted of the murders he was charged with. However, Judge Murphy ruled against granting Melly bail, citing the evident proof of his guilt. The nature of the charges, which involved a double homicide, made it highly unlikely for a judge to grant bail, especially without a substantial amount. This decision meant that Melly would remain behind bars, further prolonging his time in jail. The denial of bail added another layer of complexity to the case. Melly's defense team had to navigate the challenges of preparing for the retrial while their client remained incarcerated. The defense argued that Melly had voluntarily surrendered when he was charged with the murders, highlighting his cooperation with law enforcement. The defense also pointed out the discrepancy between Melly's situation and that of his co-defendant, Cortland Henry. Henry had been granted bail, which raised questions about the fairness and consistency of the judicial process. However, the severity of the charges against Melly, coupled with the delays caused by arguments pertaining to the death penalty, played a significant role in the denial of his bail. The denial of bail had a profound impact on Melly's ability to assist in his defense. Being held in jail limited his access to resources, communication, and the ability to actively participate in his case. It also took a toll on his mental and emotional well-being as he awaited the retrial from behind bars. In addition to the denial of bail, Melly faced further legal troubles during the period between the mistrial and the retrial. Prosecutors charged him with witness tampering, alleging that he and his associates attempted to prevent his ex-girlfriend Mariah Hamilton from testifying. These charges resulted from intercepted jail calls where discussions about keeping Hamilton from appearing in court were allegedly heard. The witness tampering charges not only complicated Melly's legal situation, but also had implications for his co-defendant, Cortland Henry. Both Melly and Henry were now being held without bail, awaiting their respective trials. This development further heightened the stakes and added pressure to the upcoming retrial. The defense had to navigate the legal implications of the witness tampering charges while preparing for the retrial. They had to strategize on how to address these new allegations and their potential impact on the overall case. The prosecution, on the other hand, aimed to present the witness tampering charges as evidence of Melly's guilt and his attempts to obstruct justice. As the retrial loomed on the horizon, Melly's defense team faced the daunting task of building a strong case while their client remained in jail. They had to carefully analyze the evidence, challenge the credibility of the prosecution's witnesses, and present a compelling narrative that would cast doubt on Melly's involvement in the murders. The denial of bail and the witness tampering charges added layers of complexity to an already intricate case. The defense had to navigate these challenges while maintaining their focus on proving Melly's innocence. The public eagerly awaited the retrial, hoping for a resolution that would bring clarity to the events surrounding the deaths of Chris Thomas Jr. and Anthony Williams. As the retrial approaches, the anticipation and speculation surrounding the outcome continue to grow. The defense, led by Jamie Benjamin, is determined to challenge the investigation and present a compelling case for Melly's innocence. The prosecution, under the leadership of Alexandra Buckaloo, aims to prove Melly's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Controversies surrounding his trial. One of the most striking aspects of the YNW Melly case has been the rapper's behavior in the courtroom. Videos of him smiling and laughing during proceedings have gone viral, sparking outrage and accusations of a lack of remorse. These actions have left many questioning the true nature of Melly's involvement in the tragic events. The mother of one of the victims, filled with grief and anger, walked out of the courtroom, unable to bear witness to what she perceived as a lack of respect. She expressed her disbelief at Melly's demeanor, questioning his prayers and the sincerity behind his actions.
What you praying for, because you sitting over there like you don't got no remorse. Like every time I walk in, you smiling. You know, this ain't the time for that. This case is sad. This is serious.
The courtroom controversies have not been limited to YNW Melly alone. Testimonies from friends and acquaintances have shed light on the rapper's lifestyle and habits, raising further questions about the events leading up to the killings. One particular testimony that shocked many came from a friend of Melly's, who spoke about their marijuana use before testifying in court. The friend's statement implied that smoking weed was a regular part of their routine, even during serious moments such as court court proceedings. The revelation of drug use in connection with the case has sparked debates about its potential influence on the events that unfolded that tragic night. It has also raised questions about the rapper's state of mind and decision-making during that time. As the trial progresses, the focus shifts to uncovering the truth behind the events that led to the killings. Friction between YNW Melly and Christopher Thompson, one of the victims, has been a topic of interest. However, the exact nature of their relationship and any potential conflicts remain unclear. The prosecution faces the challenge of presenting a compelling case without a murder weapon. They rely on other evidence, such as ballistics and testimonies, to build a strong argument against YNW Melly. The absence of a murder weapon adds to the mystery surrounding the case, leaving room for speculation and further investigation. The YNW Melly case has not only captivated the public's attention, but has also sparked discussions about the consequences of violence within the music industry. It serves as a reminder of the devastating impact that such actions can have on families and communities. As the trial continues, the prosecution remains determined to bring justice to the victims and their families. The defense, on the other hand, fights to present a different narrative, challenging the evidence and seeking to establish reasonable doubt. The controversies surrounding the YNW Melly case serve as a stark reminder of the complexities and moral dilemmas that arise when the worlds of fame and crime collide. The loss of Christopher Phillips, known as YW Juvie, and Anthony Williams, known as YNW Sack Chaser, has left a void in the lives of their families. The pain and grief they endure are immeasurable as they grapple with the unimaginable loss of their loved ones. The victims' families, once close to YNW Melly, now find themselves on opposite sides of the courtroom. They express a deep sense of betrayal and heartbreak, struggling to reconcile the person they once knew with the accused standing trial. Leandra Phillips, the mother of Christopher Phillips, has been vocal about her anguish and frustration. She has spoken out against YNW Melly's demeanor in court, questioning his prayers and the sincerity behind his actions.
He did it a couple times.
Yeah.
So he was doing it a couple times. That wasn't his first time.
The victims' families seek justice, not only for their loved ones, but also for the closure and peace that it may bring. They attend court proceedings, hoping to find answers and hold YNW Melly accountable for the lives lost. The impact of the YNW Melly case extends beyond the immediate families. The community at large has been deeply affected by the tragedy, as it serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of violence and the fragility of life. The case has sparked conversations about the role of artists and their responsibility to their communities. It has ignited debates about the influence of music and the need for accountability within the industry. The YNW Melly case has also shed light on the challenges faced by young artists navigating fame and the pressures that come with it. It serves as a cautionary tale, prompting reflection on the importance of mental health support and guidance for those thrust into the spotlight. As the trial unfolds, the community watches closely, seeking closure and hoping for justice to be served. The outcome of this case will have a lasting impact, not only on the victims' families, but also on the broader conversation surrounding crime, fame, and the pursuit of justice. The YNW Melly case serves as a somber reminder of the devastating consequences of violence and the profound impact it has on individuals and communities. It is a call to action, urging society to address the root causes of such tragedies and work towards a safer and more compassionate world. As the trial continues, we will closely follow the developments and provide you with the latest updates.